Well, hello, Life Chiropractic College West listeners and viewers. Thank you for being on our Life West leadership line. Today, I have a very special person on the leadership line. He's been a very close friend of mine. We actually went to school together. We've known each other for probably 42 years, something like that, 41 years. Dr. Walter Sanchez from Hialeah, Florida, 1983 graduate of Life College. Walter, welcome to the leadership line.
Hi, Ron. Great to be here live.
It's great to have you live, man. We talk on the phone, but it's so great to see you and do this. Walter, we've been, I know you've been following the leadership line. You're a phenomenal supporter of Life West, and just know that we appreciate that. I know you support chiropractic to the max because it's in your heart. Let's talk about it. And people might not know this, but Walter is Peruvian. And Walter came to the United States on a soccer scholarship at Georgia State. And he found his way through chiropractic. Walter, I'm going to have you share that story of how that took place.
Yeah, actually, I came to New York first.
Oh, New York, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was playing soccer, and I used to weigh 138 pounds, Ron. Imagine, I was so skinny, But also, to be able to play soccer in the States, you needed to have some type of physical endurance, and I didn't have it. But anyway, it happens that we won the championship, and then I get on a scholarship to go and play in Georgia State, And as I'm playing at Georgia State, because of a friend of mine, Stewie Hoffman, right? And then one day, the coach, what I was playing, he asked me if I want to come into school over there, and he offered me a scholarship. That's how I got it. And but what happened is that I had no clue what chiropractic was really. I mean, if you ask me when I got out of school, I knew I was going to be a chiropractor. I couldn't even spell that word.
Yeah. Okay.
But by being so small and thin and not strong, not really, I couldn't develop myself, I used to injure myself very early in the season. So that's when Stewie, who was studying chiropractic, told me, hey, my brother needs some visits, and you're going to have, because they want to do surgery on my knees, like in a week or two, because I have weak knees, all right?
And Stewart's brother was at Life College, right? Was he in the
He was a student. Yeah, he was a student, and he needed visits. So he goes to me, listen, before you do that, just come see my brother, It won't cost you anything. I say, what is he going to do to me, my knees, right? So I go there, and then, he adjusts to me the atlas. He does the whole thing, never touch my knees. Okay, and next morning I saw like my knees were like they feel different. I felt strong. Something happened to me. Okay, so but he never explained anything to me. Look at how it works, because we put so much energy into teaching somebody. He didn't even mention to me what was he doing. He checked me, adjust me, got me clear. That's what supposedly happened. And next day, I'm like, wow, I've never had a problem again. Okay, and I'm just trying to make it short, but another player in my team got the surgery that I was supposed to get, and the following year, he had to go for another surgery, and I never had it. But anyway, but what happened, what it was more, the biggest thing here is that, Stewie has invited me before going to his brother to have lunch one day in downtown Atlanta. That's where Georgia State was, because they had a chiropractic meeting. Okay, the Dynamic Essentials back then.
Yeah, so Dr. Sid Williams.
Yeah, so he invited me to have lunch, just to have lunch, not to go in or anything. Yes, he said, you go to school there, you one of my best friends, come over and have lunch with me, right? So I go have lunch and they say, come in, just so you see what it is. And I walked in there and I see all these crazy people. And guess who that was? Sigafus. Long hair, jeans Sigafus, bell pants, and screaming like crazy, And then I remember Ian Grasson, I mean, all these giants, but I had no idea who they were, what they were saying. I said, this is crazy, man, So, but it was like, there was, like I look back now and it's like, you don't choose chiropractic, but really chiropractic chooses you, and it start putting the things in you. It throws you stuff. And then, I mean, destiny, brother,
It is. It's how it happens. It's just incredible. And, and I know this because I know that obviously you had no idea what chiropractic was. And so, chiropractic found you, right? Like,
Right.
But coming from Peru, and I know this, you had a desire, because we've talked about this many times, you had a desire to take chiropractic back to Peru.
Yes. That actually what happened is once I went through chiropractic, I mean, first of all, our life is so incredible. It's just great to be alive in this time, all the stuff that's happening. But yet again, we can write a book, all these people that were our mentors, and so while going in Peru, Dr. C really, I mean, brainwashed me, which I love it, I mean, they made a person of me, that I needed to deliver. He is, I mean, and took me out of thinking about ordinary things to become extraordinary. Always go to the extra mile, I mean, the training that we got when we went to school, it was like, oh, wow. So by being there, my urgency was I got to take chiropractic to Peru. Okay, to the point that when I left the school, I packed my little car, which was a little car, and I drove down to Florida with my goal to go to Peru. I was just but I was so broke that I say to myself, I'm going to stop and get a job with this chiropractor, make some money, buy my plane ticket, and go to Peru and start spreading chiropractic.
Yeah.
It never happened that way. That was my thought, But in Peru, like in so many countries, when you go to those cities, every corner has a pharmacy. And people were so sick, and people didn't believe in what we believe, So for me, it was like, I got to take chiropractic to Peru. And before I went there, I was working I ended up in a really beautiful way to work with Dr. Joe Accurso, who was my mentor back then, and he was a DE doctor too. And just spending time, but the first time he got me a job, I go, you show up on Monday. I show up on Monday, and he had a room full of Spanish people, and he said to him, go give them the lecture. I said, what? I said, you're a chiropractor, you speak Spanish, go tell them. And he was in another room with a whole full of people doing another lecture in English, So here, that was my first lecture. And you know what, Ron? Like Spanish is pretty tricky for different countries speak different.
Yeah, different dialects, right?
Yeah. So for example, to the Cubans, because mostly we're Cubans, I will say échate, because in Peru they use a lot the word échate, which means lay down, right? And every time I say échate, they were looking at me like, who the hell do you think you are, right? So it took me a little time to find out that word means it's used for dogs. You tell dogs.
That's funny. But Walter, you started the very first. I mean, your goal was out of school was to go to Peru and start a practice, go back to your homeland, and yet you started the very first chiropractic clinic in the country of Peru.
Right. But what happened was that before I went to Peru, because I wanted to go right away, But you know what Joe told me, Dr. Crusoe, he told me, hey, get stronger here, use this as your platform, and then go back there.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell you, man, I mean, Joe was something else. And I was so, I had so much experience just being with him for a year, and then, again, I was getting all these mentors and they were building me, building here, here, giving me a purpose because I had no purpose. So, I had a lasting purpose now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it became my life. And when we went to Peru, that was also, how am I going to do? I can't be here and be there, right? Because as soon as I opened up my practice started exploding, But how it works is that Innate always provides, and it provided me with Dr. Raymond Page, who I knew him since he was a little kid, and he just graduated school, and he lied to me, by saying that he spoke Spanish, right? So I can take him and do my dream, which is set up chiropractic in Peru. Okay. So, I mean, it's like a great story. Now they got over 60 chiropractors in Peru.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And we start with zero, and what we did was like, we created a program, where we get a lot of students coming from after school when they graduated, and they can do a year of practice in Peru. So that's how we started. And a lot of them, they went there, and Peruvian girls are beautiful. So they married there, they stayed there, they got families, they love the culture.
Yeah, but Walter, when you went there and being the first chiropractor in Peru, in the first office in Peru, there were no licensing laws. They didn't know what chiropractic was. How did you make that work?
That was it was when there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
And what happened is that, thank God, we were so anchored into what we have to do, because the offers that we would get when we open up the practice, because the health department came in and said, hey, what are you doing? So we had to find a way where we can practice legally. Okay. And most of them, the easy way was have a medical doctor and he's going to be there, right? But I was saying, no, that's not right, because that's not what we're here for. We have to, from the beginning, let them know that we're not medicine, and we don't aim to do the same thing that medicine. It's like we're not oil, we're water, And so the way we worked it out is we found a good lawyer who wrote a contract that we have to present it to the government, okay? And it say that we're here teaching a new philosophy, and we do this teaching every night, which we were giving lectures every night on the philosophy of chiropractic, okay? On innate intelligence, okay? On how the body is able to heal the body when there is no interference. Okay, and then we practice the art, and the art was the art of adjustments. And then we have a science, because every time we make an adjustment, we can see the signs of what we're doing. Okay, in this case, we were checking legs, and short legs were, after the adjustment, boom, they become even. So, and from there, but again, we never had any medical, the health department coming after us anymore.
Right.
Okay, we didn't have any stethoscopes, we didn't have any tourniforks, it was just beautiful practicing chiropractic, loving the people, and spreading the word, and just loving people,
Yeah, and along with that, I mean, obviously it's one thing to start a practice in a city, and I think that's, everybody knows who's listening to our practitioners that it takes work, to start the profession in a country takes a lot more work and a lot more energy. But like you said, when you got that purpose to move forward, and I just want to share with the viewers an experience I had with you, Walter. You'll probably laugh when this comes back to your memory. My family, with my wife, Mary, and my 3 daughters, there might have been like maybe, I don't know, like 8, 10, and 12, maybe. I don't know what their age was. We went with yourself and Delenda, your wife. You hadn't had kids at the time. You have 3 beautiful kids right now. we went to Peru. Remember when we went to Machu Picchu? We went over Thanksgiving.
Pachamama.
And when we were there, when we were in Lima for just a couple of days before we went down to Cusco and over, I remember you telling me at the hotel, you said, Ron, get a sport coat. We got to go somewhere, right? And we ended up going over to the president's office in Peru. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes.
And we talked with the president. I had no idea what the conversation was because I didn't speak Spanish, and all I knew was like boca arriba and boca abajo, from my practice, face up or face down. But you guys were talking, and I'm just nodding, and when he'd smile, I'd smile. We're in the presidential office, and then he gets up and he takes his coat off,
right?
And he goes and lays on his couch, and you had his head propped up on the arm, you did some leg checks, and you gave him an Atlas adjustment.
Right.
Remember this?
Right.
He had this big smile that came across his face, and he gets up and he was like, wow, like that. And then the conversation continued on to a higher level. And, it's like, that was so amazing for me at the time. First of all, we're the presidential, office, kind of thing. But Walter, those are the kind of things that happen when we're not educatively trying to drive things, when the universe takes over and just starts, having these things unfold for us. And from there, you've just done amazing things. And, like you said, 60 chiropractors now in Peru. It's amazing. People getting chiropractic care, people knowing what chiropractic care is. I know you built it with mission trips and all that stuff to start with. The interesting thing I want to bring up is this, is that when you were at college, when you were at Life College, back in the early 80s, there was probably about 900 students to 1,000 students, most likely when you graduated, because I graduated a couple of years before you, maybe a year and a half before you, but there was probably about 900 when I graduated. When I came in, there was 7, and there was 9. You're probably about 1,000. But you thought there was maybe how many Spanish-speaking students from all over, from Latinas from all over, from South America.
Maybe 15, 20, no more.
Yeah, the percentage was so small, and when you got to Florida, what, maybe 2 or 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah. And now
is flourishing, And I remember, when I got to Florida, how, like the way I was spreading the word, I was going to a radio station, a Spanish radio station, okay? And I had a radio show that was called Life Without Fear, Dr. Barch.
Yeah, like Dr. Barch's work, yeah.
Not Without Fear and With Love. That was the name of my show. And it was between a medical doctor and a psychologist. So the first show, it was a medical doctor for a half hour. And he used to push a lot of supplements, that type of medicine, right?
Yeah.
He was a medical doctor.
So he's more natural oriented.
Yeah. And then it was me, and then there was a psychologist. Okay. And I'll tell you, when I was on the phone talking about, the bigness of the human body, the bigness of innate, and what can happen if you remove the subluxation, that phone was going off the hook all the time, and that's how we start,
And it's a message people want to hear. They really.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. It's what drives us anyways. It's incredible, and I want to thank you. I know that we've talked about this many times. You've sent over probably over 100 students to chiropractic college, and probably a vast majority of them, are Spanish-speaking students, whether from South America, whether from Cuba, whether from Puerto Rico, where your wife is from, or whatever. Because for me, that's what it takes. And the colleges, we need to do a better. Every college, Life West included, a better job reaching out, to different sectors and of our country, of the world, right? So we can spread chiropractic, especially the Latin American countries, in America here, African Americans, and we all need to do a better job at that, right? But it's the practitioners that have a great opportunity to be able to also help in that. It's like we just can't look at the schools; we got to look at ourselves too, right? And right. You've done a phenomenal job, and just thank you. Thank you and Glenda, because I know Glenda is a huge advocate. She's out talking chiropractic. Your wife's not a chiropractor, but talking chiropractic all the time.
Hey, man, thank you, Ron, for everything you're doing with Life West.
Well,
I mean, it's amazing.
yeah, I appreciate that. Walter, let's talk about one final topic. We'll kind of like wrap up our show today. Let's talk about just, purpose. Let's talk about mindset. How's that? Like that lasting mindset. Because, you've been in practice, 38 years, and you've been in, you've set up, you started chiropractic in your home country of Peru, and you have a booming practice in Hialeah, Florida. It's been in the same place, for probably, I don't know how many years, 30 something years. And, you've just always kept things moving, and share with us about that lasting mindset.
Yeah. It's like, I think that this is the greatest time. I mean, it's such a great time just to be to be alive during this time. Okay. And the mindset is I think it's so important when you allow to get in here. Is so important. And I always compare like eating fish. If you eat the fish, don't eat the bones. Okay, and like I say, in my office, we have never stopped serving. Okay, and there's something that I picked up while going to DE, going to school, because I was, I like to just pick up one or two words and then develop into it. Okay, and always go into my inside to be able to do that, right? And now, one of the things that I picked up at DE was that the term near perfect. Okay, that you're never perfect. You're always near. Mm-hmm. But I remember we used to have conversation with friends of mine in the school, and they used to say, well, why can't we say perfect? I say, no, it's got to be near, because every day is a brand new day. And you can get better on that day and keep getting better and keep getting better. And that's what's driving me in my office. In my office in chiropractic is to keep on reaching for being better and better and better. So that's one of the things that pick. But in order to do that, it's so important what's going on in here, because you have to believe that, though. Because your beliefs is what's going to give you, your emotions, and then you're going to act upon. So it takes a work. Nobody can do it for you. It has to be done by yourself. And it is chiropractic because it's an inside work. It's reaching into your consciousness, reaching into your innate, and let them use you. Okay? I mean, it's not about using innate, it's allowing innate to take over. Okay, and then you start facing stuff, and then, that's how it happened. That's how it happens for me. So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, but there has to be certainty in you. You got to become certain. You have to speak with authority. What's your authority? Chiropractic. And it's so beautiful that we can use this authority on chiropractic with everything, right? We didn't stop during this COVID seeing patients, okay? But like everybody, I can't tell you that nothing happens, because it did happen, I mean, it was like a low blow for me, But yeah, I saw how many committed people, they coming in to get adjusted. We needed to make some adjustments, but it was like the flow of people almost didn't change that much, maybe a week, But then now it's everything like they coming in because they understand that chiropractic is a light, okay? And they are like boats without anchors going from different places. So it's up to us to anchor them. It's up to us to deliver, okay, not only the adjustment, but the authority on what is truth. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be with the law, with the outside laws. I mean, you follow whatever they want to say, but don't keep your mouth shut. Tell them the truth. Speak the truth. There's only one truth, and it's about down inside out. Okay, and we have a way to remove the above atlas subluxations by giving them our energy, which is love, right? And then, the rest is history.
Yeah, and it takes care of itself, And
Yes.
the viewers might not know this, and Walter, thank you, because those words really touched my heart. And, your practice right now, I mean, people fly in from Argentina, all over South America, right? They fly in from Central America, just to get adjusted,
Sure.
just to come in and get checked, right? Because they can't get what you have, in their countries. And what draws, in my estimation, what draws people in like that is what you just said, that mindset, that loving authority and commitment that you have within yourself, right? That they know this is the person I'm going to, that they'll even get on a plane every month to come in and spend a week or spend 4 days, whatever, to come in and get checked and refer people.
Right.
I've been in your office, referrals coming in.
Referrals.
This person's from Argentina, just flew in. This person came in from Colombia. This person came in from, it's amazing. So thank you, Walter. And I want to thank you for a few things. Number one, I want to thank you for holding the torch, for serving how you serve for all of these years, and for bringing chiropractic to a country, which I think is just amazingly huge. And for constantly inspiring people to be the best they can and telling them the truth. That life flows from the inside out, above, down, inside out, and that within them is that power to heal. And sharing that with people and populating chiropractic. You've done an incredible amount of work in chiropractic, and not to mention your teaching. You're flying to Sweden, you're flying to all these places in Europe to teach chiropractors, right? And it's just incredible. So thank you, immensely, gracias, immensely, and share with me any final words you have for our viewers.
What I'd like you to for every chiropractors, that are listening to today, is to get off your comfort zone. Okay? Take the torch. Tell somebody every day about chiropractic. Okay, I mean, it's up to us, and do it with love. Once you do it with love, there is nothing stopping you.
There's no resistance to love, right?
Right. That's right.
There's just acceptance. Thank you, Walter. I've been looking forward to this talk with you, and looking forward to our listeners, getting to feel you and hear you and hear what your truth is. So thank you so much. And to our viewers, I want to thank you for coming in again to another Life West Leadership Line. I think what Dr. Sanchez and Walter Sanchez just dropped on us is just incredible. There's so many jewels in there to pick up, and so there's more that will be coming. Please know that if you're ever in Hialeah, Florida, or anywhere down in the Miami area, just call Walter's office up, and you'll go in there and you'll get a beautiful adjustment. He's always open to seeing chiropractors, and he's got many chiropractors who comes in to see him. And be safe until our next leadership line. Just know that we love and appreciate you. That Life West is doing everything we can to keep this mission of chiropractic alive and keep it going at a vitalistic level. And until the next time we see you, have a wonderful, wonderful week.